Hello and welcome back to the show where I talk about what I'm watching on my TV. So today we're going to be talking about season 7 episodes 5 through 7 of The Flash. Now let's talk about a few things from these episodes. First, I think the writers heard me when I said that I wanted more Chester and Cisco interaction because I got an entire episode of it and I'm very happy about it. And now we have Team Chesco. But it didn't last long because Cisco went away in the most recent episode and he wasn't there. Hopefully it will continue though because it was fantastic. And I did really enjoy the 90s episode. I thought it was fun and I especially really liked seeing Joe and Iris in their like throwback outfits. It was pretty great. Now moving on to the most recent episode and all of the events that took place, I actually can really appreciate them having Frost take the responsibility for her actions. It just shows that it doesn't matter how much good you can do, you still have to take responsibility for the bad stuff, and there are consequences that you will have to face. So what was the point of all that? Well, I have thoughts. So after seeing the promo for the next episode, the Kramer woman that's like from the FBI or the government, she was talking about how Frost needed to have her powers taken away. So I think that she's going to be really trying to push the Metacure for all of the meta-criminals. I think they said in the past episode that she was going to be running for office soon. So I think that this is going to be her platform. I think she's going to do this because she doesn't think that Star Labs can handle all of this. And I also think that she doesn't think that Iron Heights is enough for these metas. She clearly had some kind of personal vendetta against Frost, so I feel like she may have one against all of the meta criminals. So I think that her solution is let's just take all their powers away with a cure. And I think at this point we're gonna actually start seeing them expanding the world of this universe. So we've really just been seeing them dealing with metas in Central City with like Star Labs and Joe, and Sing with CCPD, but we haven't really seen like how the outside world is affected through all of this. I know there are crossovers and they go outside of their cities, but that's not what I'm talking about because they don't really talk about that stuff much after it happens. I'm talking about here and specifically in Central City on The Flash. So I think that with her being an outsider now in Central City, she's going to be like their connection to the government, and we're going to get to be able to see how all of the outsiders are really affected by this and what they think about all of these new metas and stuff popping up. Because like obviously it's nice to have the Flash, but there's still all of these evil people making a mess of their city. Now on to all of these new forces. I just want to say I may not have predicted that there would be new forces coming, but I was right about how they were going to be introduced. But now what? Now that we have these 3 new forces, what's going to happen next? So in the most recent episode, Barry did say that they were going to go up against them. And I know it seemed like these new forces were attacking the Speed Force, but I think that was because these new forces don't know how to exist with each other. Like this is obviously a very new thing that's happening. Instead of having just the Speed Force, we now have the Sage and the Still and the other force that I can't remember at the moment here, and they don't really know what to do with all of these forces around them. Like I said, they don't know how to exist together. I think that Star Labs will start to try and figure out how they can get rid of these forces, but I do think that they'll soon realize that that's not going to happen. Like when these were formed and created, it's like this was a permanent thing. Like that's a consequence of what happened when Iris did the thing that she did as a lightning rod, and all of that lightning that was different colors went into the sky and dispersed into the world. And I do think that they'll start to show them learning how to coexist with these, because I think right now they think that it's bad because it seemed like it was attacking the Speed Force, and I think they'll realize like it wasn't it's just a new thing and we're all just gonna have to deal with it. Just like in the most recent episode, Barry has to deal with living with the human form entity of the Speed Force. And I'm really okay with them doing this. Like, this is a good thing. I feel like this is a massive change in the universe, adding these new forces and having them just now be there and seeing what that would be like in the world now. This is a very good point for them to actually shake things up a little bit with their formula and start to change up the world and expand it and do something different. Every season, we've gotten a big bad, the meta of the week. There's time travel, Grodd and King Shark show up, they defeat the big bad, and like, that's it. You know, we need like something a little different now because it's season 7, and if this show is gonna go on for forever, like I think they want to, they're gonna have to change some things up. They can't just keep doing the same stuff over and over again. And I think that this season, this is going to be their opportunity to do that. They're like raising the stakes, changing the world and their environment, so everyone has to learn to deal with these differences and adapt to them and see what good is going to come out of it. Obviously, there is going to be some bad stuff that comes out of it. But yeah, that's what I think they're doing and what they're moving towards right now. So I am still sticking with the thought of them not having a big bad really at all this season because of the new forces and the different metas that are popping up, and then this whole thing that they could be possibly dealing with curing all of the criminal metas, starting with Frost. I think that this season is going to focus more on changing the world that they live in, and then like what comes next from all of that. And like I said before, I'm totally okay with it. In the other video that I made about the past other episodes, I said that if it's done right, then who really cares? And I think that this is going to be an opportunity for them to do some really good character development, and world building. I mean, and we've already seen them, like the last episode when they went back to the 90s, it was really all about Chester. We learned all about him, developed his character more, and I'm hoping we'll get to see some more character development with other members of Team Flash. You know, Caitlin just split with Frost, and it's still a pretty new thing, and they did talk about a little bit about it and how they wanted to come back together, but then they stayed separate. So I feel like that could be an opportunity for them to continue to expand upon that and just see how Caitlin is with not having to deal with Frost because she's a completely different person now. We did, spoiler alert, we did get the news that Bart Allen is coming, and I think he is coming in the next episode that will be airing in May. So that will be an interesting thing to see. We already had Nora, so I'm wondering what this is going to be, because he's actually going to be their son when I think in the comics he's their grandson. So is this because the timeline has changed? Does Nora still exist? What's going on with that? But I think that's going to, again, show some character development with Barry and Iris because of all of the things that happened with Nora and the fact that she was erased from the timeline, and now they have this new kid that's going to pop up, and it's going to be like, is it going to be the same thing like as it was last time? They're probably going to try and treat him like that. Obviously, they're going to want to find out what's going on in the future and why they have a son now and not a daughter. Or maybe it's Nora and Bart and they're the Tornado Twins. Who knows? But I think those will be moments of great character development for them. And we'll see with everyone else. You know, there's Cisco, which unfortunately he hasn't gotten much, and they just keep shipping him off with Camilla, but hopefully they will start to focus on him more, especially considering the fact that he was Vibe and then he wasn't Vibe, and now he's got these things on his arms that he's like Vibe again now. So who knows? Does he want to be a superhero? Does he not want to be a superhero? That would be a very interesting storyline for him that I would like to see. So those are just my thoughts on everything. Like I said before, there are going to be a couple weeks before we get a new episode. I think the date is May 4th. So I think I am going to do a video for that episode specifically because Bart is coming, and that's huge news, and I'm just really excited to see what they're going to do with all of that. So that will be the next time you'll hear me talk about The Flash. Enjoy the break. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Comment with all of your theories and your thoughts down below, and I will see you guys later. Bye.